Okay, chickens. This is a video about how to draw Mimbres pottery compositions. It's based on this awesome book, Mimbres Pottery, Ancient Art of the American Southwest. And these are just some of the different compositional strategies that Mimbres potters do. And I'm going to kind of go through some of these very simply and just draw them out for you. So when you're looking at these artworks, you can kind of break down the compositions into smaller pieces. So the first series we're going to do is a series where the pots are divided into 4 quadrants with the cross going across the middle. So I'm going to do one that goes like this, like a horizontal cross. I'm going to do one that kind of goes like this, like an X. Another one like this. And another one like this. So sometimes what you'll see is very simple compositions where the 4 quadrants are just divided into basic 4s, and then they're kind of broken up in like this mirrored image pattern, like so, you know, something along these lines. Other times you'll see them where they cross in the middle, and then maybe there's like a blocked out section in the center like this, kind of like 2 opposing triangles, and then this could be broken into like a square kind of a thing with lines that go this way, always kind of keeping that 4 quadrant mirrored image kind of idea. Get the gist of it there. Other times they'll take these 4 lines and they'll use this to create one fat line that goes this way, and then it's almost like a woven pattern. So it kind of goes around and around and around like that. And then maybe there might be some more designs around these edges like this, you know, kind of breaking it up. You get the idea? Or it could be like a twisted style of the same idea. So it's kind of like overlaps, 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 and overlaps. And then maybe they draw something that kind of goes around the edge and kind of like define the outer lines and get some patterning going like that. Okay, so that's the kind of like 4 quadrant style with where the crosses go across the middle. Next, I'm going to show you guys the style where it's still divided into 4 quadrants, but the center is open. So sometimes that open center is like a circle in the middle, or a diamond, like a big open diamond pattern, like this. Or layers of circles, like one circle and then another circle. Or maybe it's more like a square across the center. Okay, and so what that might look like is something like this, where we've got our 4 quadrants, boop, and kind of like the one I drew above, you know, kind of. But this time we are open in the middle, like this 2-sided Sharpie. It's kind of a fun way to work it out, right? Okay, so here we got another fun one where it's like a big wide open square, and then we're going to divide this into 4 quadrants like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we will do some thick lines on opposite sides, and then thinner lines in the middle. This is overly simplistic, but just when you're looking at their compositions, you kind of get an idea. Here's an interesting one where you do a circle in the middle, and then another circle, and then these are kind of divided into little sections, like here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you could divide over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and play with each of these little quadrants and give each one its own pattern. You get the idea here, right? Okay, moving on, and then this one, here's another one that's kind of cool with the square open in the center. And you could use the corners of the square to kind of divide it into 4 quadrants. And then you could do another square kind of on the inside. So similar kind of patterning idea, just breaking up a shape into multiple quadrants and compositionally turning it into something more complex. Okay, now we're going to get more dynamic. And this strategy is where we're still using kind of like the 4 quadrant idea, but what's interesting about these ones is they create like a diamond pattern. So I'm going to just use my pencil and start by drawing like 4 kind of dots in the center. Each one, I'll do one that's kind of narrow, one that's kind of wide, one that's really small, and maybe one that's like really super duper tight, okay? So, this one's interesting. It's gonna go like this. I'm gonna also add these little lines to kind of point. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these look like this. Okay. This connects to here. And this connects to here. This connects to here. So these are kind of like a open star pattern in the center. Okay, here's another one that's really wide and fat. What's interesting is these, people 1,000 years ago were playing with these kind of compositions and, having the time to be creative with composition. So I'm connecting the corners, these 4 dots in the center. So see how it changes the overall composition, and then these could be things that you then play with, pattern on the exterior side. You get the gist of it. Okay, now we're going to get even more complex. So these last ones are still in that 4 quadrant kind of a strategy or style, but this time it's got a twist. So now we're getting really complicated. So with this one, I'm going to do my 4 little notes that I know I'm going to have going here, but instead of having the 4 dots, I'm going to move them slightly off center. 1, 2, 3, 4. So like here's the line. And instead of having them 4, 1 in each quadrant, they are, but they're slightly off center. So this time they kind of go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See how that is like that, only twisted? It's super interesting. Okay, let's try another one. Kind of cool. So 4 quadrants, and this time I'm going to do them maybe a little tighter, so like a smaller one. So 1 here, 1 here. Wait, let's see here. 1 here. Maybe I'm not going to do this very good. 1 here. We're just trying. So this is going to go like this, that. This, like that, this, that, this, that. See, slightly tighter. Interesting. Okay, and then the last ones I wanted to show you are these kind of twisted mirrored image ones. So for this, I'm going to do one line across the center here, and maybe one element's kind of like coming to this point, and one element's coming to this point. So they're kind of mirrored image, but also off center. This is going to be something kind of like this. Little wave goes like this. Little wave goes like that. And then maybe they have these elements here that kind of like enact the mirrored image. So imagine it's kind of like folded in half, right? And then you could like play with pattern and so on and so forth here. Now this last one is kind of like the same idea, only even more twisted. So maybe the points like this cross over the line, like, oh, so imagine this stretches over here. So they do something like this. They go, ooh, now we're way over the line, and it's becoming more twisted. And then you could play with stuff and kind of like, they might add lines that go like this and like that. And so it has kind of like that swirling, spiraling style to it. You can kind of see what it looks like there. So these compositions are why these Mimbres pots are so amazing, is that when you break them down into these actual little compositional strategies, you realize just how complex they are. Thanks for watching.